My chosen one, something just shifted in your reality, and you felt it. That moment when everything you hoped for suddenly slipped away, that silence where you expected an answer, that door that closed without warning. You called it disappointment. You called it loss. But what if I told you, in this very moment, that what you experienced was not rejection at all, it was divine intervention at the highest level? Listen carefully, because this message is not random. You were guided here for a reason. There was something ahead of you, something hidden, something your human eyes could not see. It looked promising on the surface. It felt right for a while. But beneath that illusion, there was a path that would have slowly drained your spirit, disconnected you from your purpose, and led you into a place you were never meant to dwell. And just before you stepped too far, just before it became too late, Archangel Michael stepped in. Yes, this was not coincidence. This was protection. You may not have heard the warning. You may not have seen the danger. But heaven saw everything. Every hidden intention. Every unseen trap. Every misalignment that your heart was about to walk into. And because you are not alone, because you are watched over, guided, and protected, your path was interrupted. That interruption felt painful, didn't it? It felt confusing. It felt unfair. It felt like something was taken from you without explanation. But understand this. When divine forces remove something suddenly, it is not to harm you, it is to save you. Right now, you may still be questioning. You may still be replaying what happened, wondering what you did wrong, wondering why things didn't go the way you planned. But the truth is, it was never meant to go your way. Because your way, in that moment, was leading you away from your highest destiny. There are moments in life when blessings don't arrive wrapped in joy, they arrive disguised as loss. And only later do you realize you were being repositioned. Not punished. Not abandoned. Repositioned. Archangel Michael does not always announce his presence with signs you can easily recognize. Sometimes his protection comes as deception. Sometimes his guidance comes as redirection. And sometimes his greatest act of love is closing a door you were ready to walk through. You were not rejected. You were rerouted. Let that sink into your spirit. Because what you lost was not aligned with who you are becoming. And what you are becoming requires a different path, one that honors your soul, protects your energy, and leads you towards something far greater than what you thought you wanted. This is why you are here, hearing these words right now. Because deep within you, there is a knowing, a quiet voice that has been trying to tell you there is more for you. There is something better. There is something truer. And today, that voice is getting louder. You are not behind. You are not broken. And you have not missed your chance. You were strategically moved, carefully redirected, divinely protected. And this is only the beginning of what is about to be revealed to you. Beloved soul, there is a language that heaven speaks, one that is not always heard through words but felt through shifts, changes, and unexpected turns. You call them setbacks. You call them delays. But in the divine realm, they are known as detours, sacred redirections designed with precision, purpose, and protection. And what you recently experienced was one of the clearest signs that this higher guidance is actively working in your life. A divine detour is not a mistake. It is not an accident. It is a carefully orchestrated movement, guided by forces that see far beyond what your physical eyes can perceive. While you were focused on reaching a certain outcome, heaven was focused on preserving your spirit. While you were chasing something that felt right in the moment, Archangel Michael was guarding a path that would ultimately lead you to peace, alignment, and truth. This is where many people misunderstand the nature of divine protection. They expect blessings to feel good immediately. They expect doors to open smoothly, relationships to flow effortlessly, and plans to unfold exactly as imagined. But that is not always how protection works. Sometimes, the greatest blessing comes in the form of interruption. Sometimes, the most powerful guidance comes through resistance. Think about it. How many times have you insisted on something, only to later realize it would have cost you your peace? How many times have you been certain about a direction, only to discover it was leading you away from who you truly are? This is why divine detours exist. They step in when your desires are misaligned with your destiny. Archangel Michael operates as a protector of truth and alignment. His role is not just to shield you from visible harm, but from subtle misdirections that could slowly pull you away from your purpose. And these misdirections are often disguised as opportunities. They look attractive. They feel exciting. They seem like the answer to your prayers. But not everything that glitters carries divine approval. A divine detour interrupts that illusion. It may come as a sudden cancellation, a rejection you did not expect, a relationship that changes overnight, or a plan that falls apart without warning. In that moment, it feels like chaos. It feels like something has gone wrong. But in reality, something has gone incredibly right, because you were stopped before you could invest more of your time, your energy, and your spirit into something that was not meant for you. There is a deeper layer to this that you must understand. Divine detours are not just about removing what is wrong, they are about creating space for what is right. When something is taken away or blocked, it is not leaving a void. It is making room. It is clearing a path. It is preparing you for something that aligns more deeply with your soul's calling. But here is where faith becomes essential. Because in the moment of the detour, you cannot yet see what is being prepared. You only feel what has been removed. You only see what has been lost. And this is where many lose trust. They begin to question, to doubt, to resist. They try to force doors open that were divinely closed. They try to return to paths that were intentionally blocked. Yet every time you try to go back, you feel it, that heaviness, that resistance, that quiet discomfort in your spirit. That is your confirmation. That is Archangel Michael gently reminding you, this is not your path anymore. Divine detours are acts of love, even when they feel like loss. They are proof that you are not navigating life alone. They are evidence that there is a higher intelligence guiding your steps, correcting your direction, and ensuring that you do not settle for something beneath your calling. And while you may not always understand them in the moment, there will come a time, very soon, when everything will begin to make sense. You will look back at what you once called disappointment and realize it was one of the greatest blessings you ever received. You will see how it protected your energy, preserved your peace, and redirected you towards something far more aligned with who you are meant to become. So do not rush to label what happened as failure. Do not be quick to call it loss. What you experienced was divine strategy in motion. It was a sacred pause, a protective shift, a powerful redirection. And as you continue forward, more will be revealed to you. Truths that will open your eyes to what was hidden, and reasons that will finally answer the questions in your heart. Precious soul, there are moments where what is hidden carries more weight than what is visible. You saw a door. You saw potential. You saw something that looked like progress, something that seemed aligned with your desires. But what you did not see, what you could not see, was the unseen current moving beneath it all. And it is here, in that hidden space, where the truth begins to unfold. There was something ahead of you that did not carry your spirit signature. It may have appeared harmless at first, even promising. But beneath that surface, There were energies, intentions, and consequences that would have slowly begun to pull you out of alignment. Not all harm arrives loudly. Not all danger announces itself with warning signs. Some of it enters quietly, disguised as opportunity, slowly shifting your peace into confusion, your clarity into doubt, and your strength into exhaustion. This is what you were being led away from. You must understand this deeply. Your spirit is sensitive to truth, even when your mind is not fully aware. There were subtle signals, moments where something felt slightly off, a hesitation you could not explain, a feeling that something was not entirely right, even though everything looked perfect on the outside. That was your inner knowing trying to speak. That was the whisper of divine awareness reaching you. But because the opportunity seemed valuable, because the connection seemed meaningful, those whispers were easy to overlook. And that is when Archangel Michael intervened. He saw what you could not see. He understood what was forming beyond your awareness. He recognized that if you continued on that path, it would have cost you more than you realized. Your peace would have been compromised. Your energy would have been drained. Your sense of direction would have slowly faded as you tried to hold on to something that was never designed to support your spirit. There are paths that look right but feel heavy. There are connections that appear strong but quietly weaken your inner foundation. There are situations that promise growth but actually lead to stagnation and confusion. And sometimes, the only way to protect you from these things is to remove you from them entirely. That removal is what you experienced. It was not random. It was not sudden in the eyes of heaven. It was perfectly timed. You were moved at the exact moment when staying would have begun to cost you something deeper, your alignment, your peace, your purpose. You were not allowed to go further because you were not meant to carry the weight that path would have placed on you. Think about this carefully. If everything had continued as you wanted, you would have invested more of yourself, more time, more emotion, more trust. And when the truth finally revealed itself, the impact would have been far more painful. The detour you experienced was not just protection, it was prevention. You were saved from a deeper loss. There may have been people involved who did not fully understand your spirit. There may have been environments that could not support your growth. There may have been outcomes that would have left you feeling disconnected from who you truly are. But instead of allowing you to reach that breaking point, divine intervention stepped in early. This is what makes your situation so powerful. You were not rescued at the last moment. You were redirected before the damage could fully take root. That is a level of protection that many do not recognize until much later. And even now, as you reflect on what happened, there may still be a part of you that wonders, what if? But listen closely to this truth. What was removed from your life was not stable. It was not secure. It was not aligned with your future. It only appeared that way for a season. Archangel Michael does not remove what is meant to remain. He does not block what is truly aligned with your spirit. When something is taken away or interrupted so suddenly, it is because its foundation was not built on truth. And your life is not meant to be built on unstable ground. You are being guided towards something stronger, something clearer, something that will not require you to question your worth, your direction, or your peace. So release the need to understand every detail of what you were saved from. You do not need to see the full picture to trust that you were protected. The fact that you were redirected is the evidence. The fact that you are still standing, still seeking, still open to growth, that is your confirmation. You were not abandoned in that moment. You were covered. Type I am divinely protected in the comments if this message is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 739 has just been released over your path, sealing your protection and activating clarity in your journey. And as this truth settles into your heart, know this: when you support the spreading of messages like this, you become part of a greater mission. You become a vessel through which light reaches others who are standing at their own crossroads, unsure and searching. As it is written, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not just a verse. It is a living promise speaking over you right now. If your spirit is saying, "I want to help this message reach someone who needs it," then act in this moment. Sow into this mission through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description, or even through the QR code placed within this space. Do not delay what your spirit is prompting you to do. Your giving is not small. It is a seed that multiplies, a light that expands, a ripple that reaches souls you may never meet. As you give, may your own path be illuminated even brighter. May doors that are truly meant for you open with ease. And may you continue to walk under divine protection, knowing that every step is being guided with purpose. Beloved, there is a question that echoes deeply within your heart, even now. Why did it have to hurt this much? If this was protection, if this was divine, then why did it come with such heaviness, such confusion, such emotional weight that you could not easily shake? The answer is not simple, but it is sacred. Because sometimes, the only way to break your attachment to what is not meant for you is to let you feel the truth of it slipping away. You see, the human heart holds on tightly. When something feels meaningful, when it carries hope, when it begins to form a vision in your mind of what could be, you naturally attach to it. You begin to build emotional roots. You invest your energy, your time, your belief. And once that connection forms, it becomes difficult to release, even when something deeper within you senses that it may not be right. This is why gentle nudges are not always enough. There were likely small signs before the detour happened. Moments where things did not feel completely aligned. Subtle discomforts, inconsistencies, or delays that made you pause, even briefly. But because your heart was already leaning in, those signals were easy to overlook. You chose hope. You chose possibility. You chose to believe it would work out. And there is nothing wrong with that. Your ability to hope is a beautiful part of who you are. But when hope attaches itself to something that is not aligned with your spirit, it can keep you connected longer than you are meant to stay. It can cause you to overlook what your soul is quietly trying to tell you. And that is when divine intervention must become stronger. This is where the pain enters, not as punishment, not as cruelty, but as clarity. Because pain has a way of doing what comfort cannot. It breaks illusions. It forces awareness. It creates a separation that your heart alone may not have been ready to initiate. When something ends gently, there is often a desire to return. But when something ends with intensity, it leaves a mark that reminds you, this is not where you belong anymore. The hurt you felt was not meaningless. It was purposeful. It was the force that severed a connection your spirit had already outgrown, even if your emotions had not caught up yet. Archangel Michael understands this balance deeply. He does not act without reason. When he allows a detour to come with emotional weight, it is because that weight carries a function. It ensures that you do not return to what has already been cleared from your path. It protects you not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, by making the separation undeniable. And yes, it may have felt overwhelming in the moment. It may have left you questioning everything, your judgment, your worth, your direction. But look closely at what has followed. There is a shift, even if it is subtle. A quiet space has opened within you. A space where reflection is happening. A space where awareness is growing. Its space would not exist if everything had continued as before. Pain creates space, and space allows truth to enter. Without that emotional impact, you might have continued forward, slowly compromising your peace, slowly adjusting yourself to fit into something that was not designed for you. You might have stayed longer than you should have, giving more than you needed to, losing parts of yourself without even realizing it. But instead, the detour came with enough force to stop you completely. This is not weakness. This is divine precision. And as difficult as it may be to accept, the depth of the pain often reflects the depth of the misalignment. The stronger the attachment, the stronger the release must be. Not to harm you, but to free you fully. You are not meant to carry confusion into your future. You are not meant to second-guess your path or question your place. You are being guided towards something that will not require you to shrink, to struggle for clarity, or to fight for peace. So what you felt, that heaviness, that ache, that moment of emotional collapse, it was not the end of something good. It was the breaking point of something that could not sustain you. And now, as you stand on the other side of that experience, even if you are still healing, there is something within you that knows you could not go back, even if you tried. That is your confirmation. The pain did not destroy you. It redirected you. It awakened you. It created a separation that your future depends on. And as you continue forward, you will begin to see that what once felt like loss was actually the beginning of a deeper alignment with who you truly are. You are not where you were before. And that is exactly the point. Beloved soul, what if I told you that what feels like chaos in your life right now is actually a carefully orchestrated movement? What if the confusion, the sudden changes, the things you cannot fully explain are not signs that you are lost, but signs that you are being repositioned with divine precision? Because this is how it often begins. Strategic repositioning does not announce itself clearly. It does not arrive with certainty or comfort. Instead, it moves through subtle disruptions and unexpected shifts that slowly guide you away from one direction and gently, or sometimes forcefully, pull you toward another. And if you look closely at your recent experiences, you will begin to notice the patterns. One of the first signs is a deep and unexplainable sense of disconnection. Things that once felt exciting or meaningful suddenly lose their energy. Conversations feel different. Environments that once felt familiar begin to feel heavy. You may not understand why, but something within you starts to withdraw. This is not confusion. It is your spirit recognizing that where you are no longer aligns with where you are meant to go. Another sign is the sudden collapse of plans. Things you were certain about begin to fall apart without clear reason. Timelines shift. Opportunities disappear. People change their behavior. At first, it feels frustrating. It feels like things are not working out. But in truth, things are being rearranged. What cannot support your next level is being removed, even if it once served you for a season. You may also notice an increase in inner tension, a restlessness that does not allow you to settle. Even when you try to hold on to what is familiar, something inside you resists. You feel pulled in a different direction, even if you cannot yet see where that direction leads. This tension is not meant to disturb you. It is meant to move you. It is the energy of transition, pushing you out of what is comfortable and into what is aligned. Archangel Michael often works through this kind of inner prompting. He does not always speak in loud, undeniable ways. Instead, he activates a knowing within you that cannot be ignored. It shows up as intuition, as discomfort, as a quiet but persistent feeling that something needs to change. And the more you try to ignore it, the stronger it becomes. Here is also the sign of isolation. Not loneliness in a negative sense, but a temporary pulling away from certain people or situations. You may find that connections begin to fade or shift. Conversations become less frequent. A bond you once felt starts to loosen. This is not always because something is wrong. It is because your path is changing. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. This can be one of the most difficult parts of repositioning to accept, because it requires you to release not only plans, but also people. And yet, this release is necessary. You are being guided towards spaces and connections that will support your growth, not limit it. Another powerful sign is the emergence of clarity through reflection. After the initial confusion and emotional intensity begin to settle, you start to see things differently. You begin to recognize patterns you missed before. You understand why certain things did not work. You see the misalignment more clearly. This clarity does not come all at once. It unfolds gradually, like light breaking through clouds. And when it comes, it brings peace. Not because everything is resolved, but because you begin to trust the process. You begin to see that there is intelligence behind what is happening, that you are not being pushed randomly but guided intentionally. You may also feel a growing sense of anticipation, even if you cannot explain it. A quiet knowing that something new is forming. That this shift, as uncomfortable as it has been, is leading somewhere meaningful. This is your spirit aligning with what is coming next. This is the beginning of forward movement. Understand this clearly. You are not being set back. You are being set into position. Every delay, every ending, every moment of uncertainty is adjusting your path so that when the right opportunity appears, you will be exactly where you need to be to receive it. Without this repositioning, you would have missed it. Without this shift, you would not be ready. So do not resist these signs. Do not interpret them as failure or loss. They are indicators that something greater is unfolding, that Archangel Michael is actively guiding your steps, clearing your path, and preparing you for what is truly meant for you. You are in transition. You are in movement. You are being strategically placed into alignment with your purpose. And soon, what feels uncertain now will become unmistakably clear. Beloved, there is a truth that many do not recognize until they are pulled away from it. The path you were once walking, the one that seemed so promising, was never designed to carry your spirit to its true destination. It may have looked right. It may have felt right for a time, but it was not aligned with the deeper calling placed within you. Not every open door is meant to be entered. Not every opportunity is meant to be accepted. And not every connection is meant to be sustained. Some paths exist only as lessons, as temporary experiences meant to show you what does not align, so you can more clearly recognize what does. The path you were on held pieces of truth, but it was not the full truth of who you are becoming. There are paths in life that appeal to your desires, but not your destiny. They offer comfort, validation, or excitement, but they do not nourish your soul. They may give you something to hold on to for a season, but over time, they begin to take more than they give. Slowly, quietly, they start to drain your energy, cloud your clarity, and distance you from your inner peace. This is how misalignment often works. It does not reveal itself immediately. It unfolds gradually. At first, everything seems fine. There is hope. There is movement. There is a sense of direction. But as time passes, something begins to shift. You start to feel tired in ways you cannot explain. You begin to question things you once felt certain about. You notice that maintaining the path requires more effort than it should. That is your spirit responding. Your spirit is not designed to thrive in spaces that do not honor its truth. It cannot fully expand in environments that limit its growth. And it will always, in some way, signal when you are walking in a direction that is not meant for you. But here is the challenge. When you are already invested, when you have already built expectations around a path, it becomes difficult to step away. You try to make it work. You try to adjust yourself. You try to find ways to bring alignment into something that was never aligned to begin with. This is where many lose themselves. They stay longer than they should. They give more than they need to. They silence their inner knowing in order to maintain something that feels important on the surface but is empty at its core. And over time, this creates a quiet disconnection from their true self. This is what you were being protected from. The path you were on may not have been wrong in a general sense, but it was wrong for you. It did not carry the frequency of your purpose. It did not support the level of growth your spirit is ready to step into. It may have offered something temporary, but it could not sustain the fullness of who you are becoming. Archangel Michael saw this clearly. He recognized that continuing on that path would have required you to compromise parts of yourself, your peace, your clarity, your authenticity. And because your journey is not meant to be built on compromise, he intervened. Not to take something away from you, but to prevent you from settling into something that would never fully satisfy your soul. There is a difference between what feels good in the moment and what is right in the long term. The path you were on may have provided moments of comfort or excitement, but it was not stable. It was not rooted in truth. And anything that is not rooted in truth cannot support your future. You are being guided towards something that will not require you to question your place, your value, or your direction. The right path does not drain you. It strengthens you. It does not confuse you. It brings clarity. It does not require you to shrink. It allows you to expand. And most importantly, it aligns with your spirit in a way that feels peaceful, even when it challenges you to grow. This is the kind of path that is now being prepared for you. But in order to step into it, you had to be removed from what was misaligned. You had to be separated from what could not carry you forward. And even though that separation felt difficult, it was necessary. You cannot walk two paths at once. You cannot fully step into alignment while still holding on to misalignment. Something had to be released so that something greater could take its place. And now, that space hath been created. You may not yet see what is coming. You may not yet understand why things unfolded the way they did. But what you can trust is this: what was removed from your life could not support the future that is meant for you. You were not meant to stay there. You were not meant to build your life on that foundation. You were meant to move beyond it. And now, you are free to do exactly that. Beloved, there is a sacred mystery in how protection truly works. It does not always arrive with noise. It does not always come with visible signs or dramatic warnings. In fact, some of the most powerful acts of divine intervention happen in complete silence, beyond your awareness, beyond your understanding. And this is exactly how Archangel Michael often moves in your life. While you were focused on what you could see, he was already working within what you could not. There are battles you never had to fight because they were handled before they could ever reach you. There are obstacles that were removed before they could block your way. There are intentions that were redirected, energies that were neutralized, and situations that were quietly dissolved, all without your knowledge. This is the nature of silent protection. You may have wondered why certain things never fully formed, why some plans never reached completion. Why certain people slowly faded away without conflict or explanation. It may have felt confusing at the time, even disappointing. But what you were witnessing was not loss. It was clearing. Archangel Michael does not always wait for chaos to appear before he acts. He often intervenes in advance, adjusting circumstances behind the scenes so that what is not aligned with you never fully manifests. And because this work happens quietly, it can be easy to overlook its significance. But look back carefully. Think about the times when something almost happened, but didn't. When a situation seemed certain but subtly shifted. When a connection felt strong but slowly dissolved without confrontation. These are not coincidences. These are moments where your path was being cleared, step by step, in ways that protected your peace without drawing unnecessary attention. This is a form of divine mercy, because not every lesson needs to come through struggle. Not every misalignment needs to fully unfold for you to learn from it. Sometimes, you are spared the experience entirely. Sometimes the door is closed before you even step through it. And while this may feel frustrating in the moment, it is one of the greatest forms of protection you can receive. There are also times when Archangel Michael works within your own energy. He strengthens your discernment. He heightens your awareness. He places a quiet resistance within you that prevents you from fully committing to something that is not meant for you. You may not always recognize this as guidance, but it is. That hesitation you felt, that pause you could not explain, that subtle feeling that something was not right. These were not random emotions. They were signals. They were gentle interventions designed to guide you away from what could not serve you. And even when you moved forward despite those signals, even when you tried to make something work, His protection did not leave you. It adapted. It shifted. It found another way to redirect you. This is what makes His presence so powerful. He does not operate within the limits of your understanding. He sees the full picture, past, present, and future. He understands how every decision, every connection, every path will unfold over time. And because of this, His guidance is always precise. It is always intentional. It is always aligned with your highest good, even when it does not make sense in the moment. You may not hear His voice directly, but you feel His influence. It shows up in the way things unfold, in the way certain doors close without explanation, in the way new paths begin to appear just as old ones disappear, in the way you are gently, or sometimes firmly, guided towards something different than what you originally planned. This is not random movement. This is divine orchestration. And the silence in which it happens is not emptiness. It is protection without disturbance. It is guidance without fear. It is intervention without chaos. Because if you were to see everything that was being handled on your behalf, it might overwhelm you. If you were to fully understand every danger you were being shielded from, it might create fear instead of trust. So instead, you are given peace. You are given redirection. You are given outcomes that, while confusing at first, ultimately lead you to safety and alignment. This is why trust is so important. You are not meant to understand every detail of how your path is being cleared. You are meant to trust that it is happening. You are meant to recognize that even in moments of uncertainty, there is order. Even in moments of silence, there is movement. Archangel Michael is not absent in your life. He is active in ways you cannot always see. And as you continue forward, more will be revealed. You will begin to notice the patterns. You will begin to understand the timing. You will begin to see how everything that was removed, delayed, or redirected was done with purpose. You are not walking alone. You are being guided, protected, and positioned every step of the way, even in silence. Beloved, there comes a moment in every divine detour where the confusion begins to lift. It does not happen all at once. It does not arrive with a loud announcement. Instead, it unfolds quietly, like the first light breaking through the darkness after a long night. This is the turning point, the moment when what once felt painful and uncertain begins to reveal its deeper meaning. You may already be standing at the edge of this realization. At first, all you could see was what was lost. Your focus was on what ended, what changed, what did not go the way you expected. But now, something within you is shifting. You are beginning to look at the situation differently. You are starting to ask new questions. Not why did this happen to me, but what was this protecting me from? Not what did I lose, but what have I been saved for? This shift in perspective is not accidental. It is the result of your spirit aligning with truth. When you are in the middle of a detour, your vision is limited. Emotions are strong. Clarity feels distant. But as time passes, as you create space between yourself and the situation, your awareness expands. You begin to see things you could not see before. You begin to notice patterns, details, and signals that were hidden in plain sight. You might recall conversations that now feel different when you think back on them. You might recognize behaviors or situations that you once overlooked. You might even feel a sense of relief, realizing that something did not continue the way you once hoped it would. This is clarity entering your life. And with clarity comes peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because everything is starting to make sense. The confusion that once weighed heavily on your mind begins to dissolve. The questions that once felt urgent no longer carry the same intensity. Instead, there is a quiet understanding forming within you, and knowing that what happened was necessary. This is the moment where faith becomes real. Because now, you are no longer trusting blindly. You are beginning to see evidence. You are beginning to understand that there was a reason behind the redirection, that there was wisdom in the timing, that there was protection in the outcome. Archangel Michael's presence becomes clearer in this stage, not because he has just arrived, but because you are now able to recognize what he had been doing all along. You begin to see how certain things were prevented, how certain paths were blocked, how certain connections were shifted. And instead of feeling frustration, you feel gratitude. Gratitude for what did not happen. Gratitude for what was removed. Gratitude for the detour that once felt like a setback but is now revealing itself as a blessing. This turning point also brings something else: anticipation. As clarity grows, so does your awareness of what is ahead. You begin to sense that something new is forming. That this was not just an ending, but a preparation. That the space created by what was removed is not empty. It is ready to be filled with something better. And this is where your energy begins to change. You are no longer holding on to the past with the same intensity. You are no longer trying to force what did not work. Instead, you are opening yourself to what is coming. You are becoming receptive, aligned, and ready. This is the power of the turning point. It transforms your perspective. It shifts your energy. It moves you from resistance to acceptance, from confusion to clarity, from loss to understanding. And once you reach this point, you cannot go back to seeing things the way you did before. You understand now that the detour was not a mistake. It was a message. It was guidance. It was protection in motion. Type "I trust the divine path" in the comments if you feel this shift within your spirit. Blessing code 8521 is now activated, releasing clarity, peace, and forward movement into your life. And as this clarity settles within you, hear this call not as a request, but as a divine assignment. There are others still in the middle of their confusion, still questioning their detours, still searching for the light you are beginning to see. When you give into this mission, you become part of the river that carries truth to those waiting in silence. As the word declares, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed, and this promise is speaking directly over your life right now. If your spirit is saying, I'm ready to help this message reach those who need it, then move in obedience. Sow your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in the description, or through the QR code provided. This is not just giving, it is alignment. It is participation in something greater than yourself. Do not hesitate, because your action in this moment carries power beyond what you can see. As you release your seed, may your own path continue to open with ease. May divine doors reveal themselves at the perfect time, and may you walk forward with unshakable trust, knowing that what is ahead of you is far greater than anything you have left behind. Beloved, now that clarity has begun to settle within you, a new question rises, not about what happened, but about what you must do next. This is where many stand at a crossroads. The detour has taken place. The realization has begun. But the next step requires something deeper than understanding. It requires alignment, because knowing the truth and walking in the truth are not the same. You have been shown that what was removed from your life was not meant for you. You have begun to see that the redirection was necessary. But now, you are being asked to participate in your own transformation. Not by force, not by pressure, but by conscious choice. The first step is release, not partial release. Not holding on quietly while pretending to move forward, but a full, intentional letting go. You must release the emotional attachment to what was, even if parts of it still feel meaningful. You must let go of the desire to revisit it, to fix it, or to understand every detail of why it happened the way it did. Because holding on, even in small ways, keeps you tied to a path that has already been closed. Archangel Michael has cleared the way for you, but you must choose to walk forward. You must trust that what had been removed does not need to be revisited, that your energy is better invested in what is ahead, not what is behind. The second step is trust, not a surface-level trust that depends on visible outcomes, but a deeper trust that exists even when the path ahead is not fully revealed. You may not yet see what is coming. You may not yet have a clear picture of your next destination. But that does not mean you are without direction. You are being guided, even now. Trust means allowing yourself to move forward without needing every answer. It means accepting that uncertainty is part of the process. It means believing that what is being prepared for you will arrive at the right time, in the right way, without you having to force it into existence. This kind of trust is not passive. It is active. It shows up in your thoughts, in your decisions, in the way you respond to the unknown. It is a daily choice to believe that you are being led somewhere meaningful. The third step is awareness. You must begin to pay attention to what is unfolding around you now. When one path closes, another begins to form, but it does not always appear in the way you expect. It may come through small opportunities, subtle shifts, or new ideas that begin to take shape within you. Do not overlook these moments. What is aligned with your spirit will feel different. It will not carry the same confusion or heaviness as before. Even if it challenges you, it will do so with clarity. Even if it requires effort, it will feel purposeful. This is how you begin to recognize the difference between what is meant for you and what is not. Archangel Michael will continue to guide you, but his guidance often comes through these quiet openings, through intuition, through sudden insight, through a sense of direction that feels calm, not chaotic. The fourth step is surrender. This is perhaps the most difficult, because it requires you to release control, to stop trying to force outcomes, to stop trying to recreate what has already been removed, to stop measuring your progress based on timelines that no longer apply. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means allowing the process to unfold, allowing the right path to reveal itself, allowing yourself to be guided without resistance. It is a state of openness, where you are no longer fighting against what is happening, but moving with it. And in that movement, something powerful begins to happen. You start to feel lighter. The weight of trying to control everything begins to fade. The pressure to have all the answers begins to dissolve. And in its place, there is a sense of peace, a quiet confidence that you are exactly where you need to be, even if you are still on the way to where you are going. This is alignment. It does not mean everything is perfect. It does not mean there are no challenges. But it means you are no longer resisting your path. You are no longer holding on to what was never meant to stay. You are moving forward with intention, with awareness, and with trust. And as you continue in this alignment, you will begin to notice something else. Doors will open more naturally. Opportunities will feel more clear. Connections will feel more genuine. Because when you are aligned with your true path, you do not have to force things to happen. They begin to flow. This is where you are being led, not into another cycle of confusion, but into a space of clarity and purpose. Not into something that drains you, but into something that supports your growth. So take this moment to choose. Choose to release what has already been removed. Choose to trust what is being prepared. Choose to stay aware of what is unfolding. And choose to surrender to the guidance that is leading you forward. Because everything you have experienced up to this point has brought you here, not to remain stuck, but to step fully into the path that was always meant for your spirit. Beloved, now that you have released what was not meant for you, something extraordinary begins to take shape. There is a shift in the unseen, a quiet alignment happening beyond your physical sight. What once felt like an ending is now becoming the very foundation for a new beginning. And this new beginning is not distant. It is closer than you realize. A new door is preparing to open before you. But understand this clearly. This door is not like the one that closed. It will not carry the same confusion, the same heaviness, or the same uncertainty. What is coming is aligned with your spirit in a way that feels different from the very beginning. There will be a sense of peace attached to it, a quiet clarity that does not require you to question every step. This is how you will know. Because when something is truly meant for you, it does not pull you into chaos. It anchors you in alignment. It does not make you doubt your worth. It reflects your value. It does not require you to chase it endlessly. It meets you where you are with a sense of mutual flow. This is the kind of door that is being prepared for you now. Archangel Michael has not only removed what was misaligned, he has also been preparing what comes next. While you were healing, while you were reflecting, while you were learning to release, the path ahead was being adjusted. Circumstances were being arranged. Timing was being aligned. Pieces were being put into place so that when this door opens, you will be ready to step through it without hesitation. And readiness is important, because the new opportunities that come into your life will match the version of you that has grown through this experience. They will require a different level of awareness, a deeper sense of self, and a stronger connection to your inner truth. You are no longer the same person who stood before the previous door. You have changed. You have gained clarity. You have developed discernment. This is why the next door could not open before the last one closed. There was a preparation that needed to happen within you. Now, you may begin to notice subtle signs that this new door is approaching. It may come through new ideas that feel inspired rather than forced. It may appear as opportunities that align naturally with your strengths and your values. It may even show up through people who recognize your worth without you having to prove it. Pay attention to how it feels. There will be a sense of ease, even if there is growth involved. There will be a feeling of rightness, even if there is uncertainty about the outcome. This is the difference between something that is meant for you and something that is not. You will not have to convince yourself that it is right. You will know. This knowing does not come from logic alone. It comes from alignment. It comes from a place within you that recognizes truth when it appears. And after everything you have experienced, your ability to recognize that truth is stronger than it has ever been. But there is something you must be careful of in this moment. Do not let the memory of past disappointment cause you to hesitate when the new door appears. Do not allow fear to make you question what feels right. The previous experience was not meant to make you afraid. It was meant to make you aware. You are not being led back into the same situation. You are being guided into something new. And this time, you carry wisdom that you did not have before. You carry discernment that will help you navigate with clarity. You carry an understanding of your own worth that will prevent you from settling for less than what you deserve. This is your advantage. Archangel Michael has not only cleared your path, he has strengthened you for what is ahead. He has prepared you to recognize the difference between illusion and truth, between misalignment and purpose, between temporary excitement and lasting peace. So when this new door begins to open, you not approach it with doubt. Approach it with awareness. Step forward with confidence, knowing that you are no longer the same person who once walked toward something that was not meant for you. You are aligned now. You are ready now. And what is coming will reflect that readiness. This door will not take from you. It will add to you. It will not confuse you. It will confirm what you already feel within. It will not lead you away from your purpose. It will bring you closer to it. So remain open. Remain present. Remain trusting. Because what is about to enter your life is not a replacement for what you lost. It is a revelation of what was always meant for you. And when it arrives, you will understand why everything had to happen the way it did. Beloved, there is one final layer of this journey that must settle deeply within your spirit, and it is this: timing. You have begun to understand the detour. You have started to see the protection. You have felt the shift within yourself. But there may still be a quiet question lingering in your heart. When will everything fully come together? This is where trust is tested the most. Because divine timing does not move according to your expectations. It does not follow the schedule you once imagined. It unfolds with precision, not urgency. And while this timing is always perfect, it does not always feel immediate. This is the space where fear tries to return. You may find yourself wondering if you are waiting too long, if you have missed something, or if what is meant for you will truly arrive. These thoughts are natural, but they are not truth. They are reflections of your desire for certainty in a process that requires faith. Understand this clearly: what is meant for you cannot pass you by. It is not delayed because it hath been forgotten. It is not withheld because you are not worthy. It is being prepared in alignment with the right conditions, the right timing, and the right version of you. There are elements that must come together, not just within your life, but within the lives of others connected to your path. There are moments that must unfold, lessons that must be completed, and circumstances that must align in ways that you cannot fully see. If anything were to arrive too early, it would not carry the same stability, the same clarity, or the same lasting impact. This is why timing matters. Archangel Michael does not rush what is sacred. He does not allow you to step into something before it is ready to support you. And he does not allow what is meant for you to be given at the wrong moment, where it could be misunderstood, mishandled, or lost. You are not waiting without purpose. You are standing in preparation. Even now, as you feel the stillness, as you experience moments where nothing seems to be happening, there is movement beneath the surface. There are adjustments taking place. There are alignments being finalized. There are doors that are being positioned so that when they open, they will not lead you into confusion, but into clarity. This is the difference between rushing and readiness. Rushing creates instability. It forces outcomes before they are fully formed. It leads to situations where things begin quickly but cannot sustain themselves over time. You have already experienced what happens when something is not fully aligned. And now, you are being guided toward something that is. And alignment requires timing. It requires patience. It requires trust. It requires the ability to remain grounded even when the outcome is not yet visible. This does not mean you stop moving forward. It does not mean you become passive. It means you continue to grow, to learn, to stay open, without forcing what is not yet ready to appear. This is where your strength is being built. Because trusting divine timing is not easy. It asks you to release control. It asks you to believe without immediate proof. It asks you to remain steady even when your emotions want resolution. But as you stay in this place of trust, something begins to shift within you. You become less anxious about the future. You become more present in the moment. You begin to understand that your life is not falling behind. It is unfolding exactly as it should. This understanding brings peace. Not because everything has arrived yet, but because you know it will. Not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the process that is guiding you. And when the right moment comes, it will not feel rushed. It will not feel forced. It will feel natural. It will feel clear. It will feel like everything is finally coming together in a way that makes sense. This is how divine timing reveals itself. It does not create chaos, it creates alignment. It does not bring confusion, it brings clarity. It does not leave you questioning, it confirms what you already feel within. So release the need to control when things will happen. Release the pressure to have everything figured out right now. You are not meant to carry that burden. You are meant to trust. Trust that what was removed was necessary. Trust that what is being prepared is aligned. Trust that what is coming will arrive at the exact moment it is meant to. And most importantly, trust that you are not forgotten. Archangel Michael is still guiding you, still protecting you, still positioning you for what is ahead. And every moment of waiting is not a delay. It is a refinement. You are being prepared for something that will not require you to question its place in your life. And when it arrives, you will realize that the timing was never wrong. It was always perfect. Beloved soul, as this message comes to its gentle close, let your heart rest in this truth. You were never rejected. Not for a moment. Not in any part of what you experienced. You were protected, guided, and lovingly redirected toward a path that honors your spirit in ways you are only beginning to understand. Take a deep breath and feel that. Everything that happened, every shift, every ending, every moment of confusion, it was not chaos. It was care. It was divine precision unfolding in your life, even when it did not feel that way at the time. What you thought was being taken from you was actually being removed for your sake. You were not losing something meant for you. You were being separated from something that could not carry your future. And now, as you stand here, having walked through the uncertainty, having felt the weight of the detour, there is something within you that has changed. You are stronger. You are more aware. You are more aligned with your truth than you were before. This is the quiet transformation that divine detours bring. They do not just change your direction, they change you. And that change is preparing you for what is ahead. Archangel Michael has not left your side at any point in this journey. Even in the moments when you felt alone, even in the silence when you searched for answers, his presence remained steady. His protection surrounded you. His guidance continued to move you, step by step, into alignment with what is truly meant for your life. You are not standing in uncertainty anymore. You are standing in preparation. What once felt like an ending is now becoming a beginning. What once felt like confusion is now becoming clarity. What once felt like loss is now revealing itself as protection. Let go of the need to revisit what has already been closed. Let go of the questions that no longer serve your growth. You do not need to go back to understand. You only need to move forward to receive. Because what is ahead of you is not a repetition of the past. It is a new alignment, a new opportunity, a new chapter that reflects the person you have become. And this time, it will feel different. There will be peace where there was once doubt. There will be clarity where there was once confusion. There will be stability where there was once uncertainty. This is what happens when you walk a path that is truly meant for your spirit. So rest in this knowing. You are exactly where you need to be. You have not missed anything. You have not fallen behind. You have been guided every step of the way, even when you could not see it. And as you continue forward, trust that the same divine protection that redirected you will now lead you into something greater. Type "I am protected" and aligned in the comments if you receive this message with your whole heart. Blessing code 9912 is now released over your life, sealing your path with peace, clarity, and divine favor. And as this truth settles into your spirit, hear this as a sacred calling. There are countless souls still standing where you once stood, confused, hurting, questioning why their path changed so suddenly. When you choose to give, you become the light that reaches them in their moment of darkness. The Lord declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and this promise is alive over you right now, turning every seed you release into a harvest of purpose. If your heart is saying, "I want to help carry this message to someone who needs it," then move with obedience. Sow your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in every video description, or through the QR code provided. This is not a simple act. It is a prophetic step, a divine partnership, a moment where your faith becomes action. Do not hesitate, because your response today opens doors not only for others, but within your own life. As you give, may your path be filled with light. May every door meant for you open with ease. And may you continue to walk forward with unshakable peace, knowing that you were never rejected, you were always protected.